Well, team kill situation. Of course, you're going to see unorthodox strategies because one, you don't want to reveal like a super high competitive level strategy to the general public against your own teammates.
Yep.
I'm not saying you're trying to throw games or anything like that, but you practice with them every day, so you're going to have to do something that's very weird. So obviously, we're not going to see terribly standard games, but this is still. Even having said all of that, still a weird way that this set is played out.
Panic is going to go for a very early Forge. Never mind. He has decided not to. We should see another Chrono Boost go down on this Nexus, though.
Yeah. I mean, he gets in there, checks out what his opponent is doing. Zero, he decided to hatch first against a Foreigner Protoss before, but let's see if he just goes for the normal 15 pool this time. No, that's his thing. He is actually going to go for the 15 hatch.
All right, heading down, and the probe is in the way. See if Panic's going to manage to be able to block this. It looks like he is going, yeah, he's going for a Nexus first behind this. Throws down the pylon. That's going to force Zero to get the spawning pool. Panic is now going to be able to have a fantastic opening here versus Zero.
He's still going hatch first, just to add his third. This is incredibly risky because
he knows Panic is going Nexus first now. I actually think this is really smart, like high-level thought process.
Yeah, but regardless, it's still very risky.
Oh, it totally is. I'm actually like amazed right now. I mean, at how this is developed because
he's going to go 3 hatch before pool.
Okay, so Panic was actually going to go for a Forge first. We saw his probe go down, right?
Yeah.
Then he went, never mind, I'm going to go home because he didn't see the spawning pool. So he knew that Zero was going for the hatch first. He blocked the hatch first. He saw the probe go, or he saw the drone then go down and not up. It didn't follow him back into the base. So he said, okay, you're taking a third. I'm still going to go Nexus first. And this has just been crazy. And then Zero knew that Panic would respond in that way, so then he knew that he didn't have a Forge. This is really, really cool stuff coming out of these guys. And
decides the 3 hatch before pool as a result. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. Andrew, I don't know what's going on. Loud noises. No. Panic, though, is not panicking. He's got a nice, safe build coming up back at home. That Nexus first we talked about before. Forge, Gateway, all on the way. So things are looking very normal for him. It's just Zero has just kind of always been this wild card.
Yeah, it's very unpredictable what he's going to manage to be able to do. We should make him more of like a, like denominator Zero or something. Things that don't make sense.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I mean, how did that slowling all in versus pink work? I don't know, but it did.
All right. Well, the end result, of course, is that we have a few good bases up. Drone production is going to be running very high soon. But I mean, that's pretty much where we're at the moment. No gas being taken for a while. We'll see actually how many he waits, how many drones he waits until to start grabbing his tech.
Kevin, what's your favorite song from any video game ever across all platforms?
Ooh, that's actually interesting. Well, okay, I'm biased in a part of a way because I don't know if you remember the JRPG that took place in Chopin's mind that actually came out for the Xbox and has a lot of good Chopin music in it, and it's my favorite composer of all time.
Yeah.
So it's that, but as far as like original compositions go, I've always been drawn to the music from Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, so I really enjoy the opening title from Morrowind.
That is one I'll have to give a listen to then. I actually haven't heard that one.
There you go.
We were talking about Ocarina of Time. That's my favorite. We were talking about that earlier today at lunch.
Yeah.
We were nomming on
French food.
Yeah, that is what we had. Thank you.
No problem.
Croque Monsieur. Well, we walked past that Indian truck, and then I was like, we didn't eat the Indian food. I love Indian food, man. Never had it before I came to San Francisco, but
so good.
I love it.
Stargate coming up for Panic here, and we'll see what he can do with that. But he's certainly going to look to apply some pressure, but it's kind of a weird time for that to happen. It's been a little bit delayed in light of everything that happened before, coming at about, well, I guess not too bad. I mean, about 6.5 minutes. Now, if Zero's playing this the way I think he's going to, we're probably going to see, evolution chambers here in just a bit, him play super defensive because he went for a really economically greedy build.
Yeah.
And since he's been able to read his opponent so well, like you were talking about before, I think that it would be a little bit difficult to try and get in with that sort of pressure.
Yeah, it's obvious. It really is so obvious that these guys are teammates because they know how each other are reacting to things. So I'm anxious to see what happens when somebody scouts what the other player is going for, because they're both pretty clueless right now in terms of who has what information. If we take a look at the vision of Panic right now, I mean, all he's seen is, since the hatcheries and the spawning pool. If we take a look at the vision of Zero, it's, well, that. That's really cool looking.
Yeah.
That is so cool looking.
Well, let's see here what the Stargate's going to be able to do. Already 2 Phoenixes out, third on the way. And So he will be able to clean up the Overlords at the very least, although the Overlords are going to get a pretty decent scout.
Will they make it to the Stargate? Yeah, well, with the Sentry, maybe not.
I think he's going to. Yeah, it looks like he sees the edge of it now, and now he sees those, so he's going to be adequately prepared, and immediately Spore Crawlers are thrown down.
All right. Well, this is a little small victory here for Zero, getting this information before there's enough Phoenix out, really, for Panic to move out. He's still letting them accrue at home. He's not sure that that Overlord saw it. It was very close.
Yeah, 4 Phoenixes with a 5th on the way before he moves out, but of course he's buying time for 6 Spore Crawlers to finish back at Zero's, all of Zero's bases, so it's going to be very difficult to try and pressure your way through here, especially with 2 Queens in addition to that, and Queens who have pretty decent DPS at this stage of the game.
Yep, playing it super safe with 2 Spore Crawlers at this third, and he's going for a little bit of a link counter here. That's just so smart. Zero knows that this is the time that Panic wants to take a third. I don't know if he's got enough here, though. I'm really surprised he didn't go for that probe. Looks like he's going to now, and he should be able to get it.
Yeah, I mean, he killed 1 Zealot there, and he forced a lot of energy out of the sentries, admittedly, but he didn't kill any.
That actually works out very well in Zero's favor. You know, if you kill the probe at the beginning, Panic's going to immediately be able to send another probe down. But if you wait until the end to kill it, then it takes that much longer for Panic to be able to, you know, be like, oh, you killed my probe, I have to send another one down.
And these Phoenixes have done 0 damage. No pun intended. But, I mean, they really haven't been all that effective. They've not been able to pick anything up. They've been zoned out by Spore Crawlers really effectively. There's been multiple Queens pretty much everywhere that they've tried to jump in at. They may finally snag an Overlord, but that'll be the first damage that they've done.
Ling run by into the main right now. Lots of Lings. Oh, he misses the next Zealot as well. He could have had an opportunity to warp in a unit there, but now there's tons of Lings in his main base, and this is going to draw back the forces of Panic. This will expose his third. We can actually see he has moved units back down to his third. Both players thinking the same thing right now.
Yeah, definitely. So the Zerglings aren't going to do a ton of damage explicitly, but again, the Phoenix is in the midst of all of this. We're driven away again by multiple Spore Crawlers.
And consequently, the drone does get down at the 4th base, allowing Zero to begin his 4th. Which, honestly, the Phoenix should be able to stop. We saw them sitting outside the 4th base so that they can do exactly that. But with all this Ling run by going on, Panic was just a little too distracted.
Okay, well, after all is said and done, supplies are relatively even. Looks like these Phoenixes picked up a lot of Zerglings, actually. That was a pretty decent number that were destroyed, but it's not the most efficient use of energy there.
It's the least inefficient possible use of energy in the entire game.
Yes, it is.
Let's just be frank.
50 energy per Zergling there that cost 25 minerals apiece. But in any case, I guess it will staunch the flow of Zerglings for a little while. No Baneling Nest out, though, so it's not like these have a threat to turn into massive AoE damage. We're just seeing a big follow-up with Infestors and Spire Tech, although no Hive yet.
Yeah, not quite yet. It is 12 minutes, so we're approaching, you know, the earliest points where players do go for Hive. You can go a little bit faster than this. But right now, Zero is going to be catching a couple of probes that were Maynarding their way down to the 3rd base. Doesn't actually pick off any, though. He almost got a peek of that Colossus Tech, though. Yeah,
when he ran by, he may very well have seen it. But, I mean, certainly his Spire was already done, and without Hive, he's planning on putting up a few Corruptors, and there they go. I mean, they're being started right now.
All right, 3 Corruptors on the way. 2-2 as well for Zero. Taking a look at the upgrades of Panic. He's not sitting quite as pretty as Zero will be sitting in a minute at, well, I'm not actually sure what his upgrades are. What are they, Kevin?
Let's see here. Panic is at, I believe, just +1 weapons. I'll have to check here again, but...
Yeah, it's +1 or plus... Yeah, wow. Yeah, his Twilight Council just finished right now, actually, so he didn't get any armor, in fact.
Yeah, so a massive upgrade advantage for Zero, and even though he's kind of... he's botched a couple of the Zergling engagements so far, he's still in a really nice position.
Yeah, a lot of money has been put into those Phoenix that honestly haven't done much. If these Lings bring the army home, no, they're not. So this 3rd could potentially fall. Panic's going to really commit to this attack. Zero needs to give up this 4th base because he has the potential to kill Panic's 3rd right now. He'll lose as few units as possible. He's going to lose 1, 2 of his Infestors, and not a Corruptor.
No Corruptors quite yet.
Third
in fact, he should be able to take those out pretty quickly. Yeah, the 3rd does go down. A lot of the units that were standing there did fall too. So a 4th for a 3rd does favor our Zerg player at this point. Once you get later on into the game, things like a 6 for a 5th aren't so bad, but a 3rd for a 4th is pretty devastating for our Protest player. And he gets completely surrounded, locked down in place with Fungal Growth. That's actually just going to be GG, and Zero takes game number 2.
He does, and you know, a lot of that comes down to the Phoenix not doing any damage, the good Ling run buys that we had from Zero. We pulled all those units out of the main. He pulled every probe out of the main for an extended period of time, 20, 30 seconds, not 5 or 10. It was a good amount of time that those units weren't mining, and then getting that 4th base down. I mean, a lot of things working out there really well for Zero.
All right, guys. Well, that's game number 2. It's actually all coming down to our final game of the night. It's going to be StarTale Panic versus StarTale Zero on Ohana. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the game.